For the first time in 5 years, we went on a weekend trip. We went to the Upper Peninsula, to Quamanon Falls, got some great footage. We went to Hulbert, saw the deer herd. We went over to the Sioux, got some whitefish spearing down to Muskong Bay. Oh, we were in a blizzard. Then we got back, looked at the tape, it was all blue. What can I say? We got to go back and do that again. Instead, we're going to bring you some hot steelhead fishing. What we're going to show you happened 2 years ago, but this kind of steelhead fishing is happening right now. So stay tuned. We're going steelhead fishing tonight.
Well, okay, I had my line in the water. We just stopped at this hole. I put the line in probably 15 seconds, and it just hit the bottom, and I was checking it. And we got a steelhead on. We got a good one. It's a good sized one, John. How big do you think it is? Now watch. 7.5, 8 pounds. Okay, watch right here, because it's liable to jump. What's that?
Get that rod out of the corner there, guys.
Okay, here you go.
Oh!
Oh, that's a nice one.
Nice fish. Kathy, bring that rod.
Nice big one. Look at it. Let it go here. He's pulling the drag out.
That's okay. All right.
It worries me when they're so close to the boat.
Fred, why don't you get up there in the center? Yeah.
Up in the center? Okay. There he goes, taking a little run. All right. Look at him. Woo!
It didn't take long, did it?
Oh, boy, that thing.
No, he was, and he hit it. He really hit it good, I'll tell
You
you.
let him take it just right.
Yeah.
You know, that rod has never lost a fish. That's my rod.
This rod is never.
Don't put a jinx on it.
Nothing like pressure. You know, I'm a lot warmer now.
Yeah, it's funny how warm
Everybody
Yeah, it does.
If he starts going over that side, back up just a little bit, and I'll go across.
What is the temperature, Emil?
It's about 19.
19? The thing is, I'm not used to winter.
Neither am I.
This is the first winter day that I've been out. Well, last week you guys had it, what, in the 40s?
Oh, yeah, it's been up in the 30s and 40s every day, you know.
Oh, boy.
Let me get out there.
No, he's not ready yet.
He's almost ready.
He's almost ready. I'm ready to get him in the net.
We got that brush down there, so we're going to have
I
to
know.
hustle him, or I'm going to have to move out.
Okay, we're gonna.
Just take it easy. If he wants to go, let him go. But if he wants to come up, bring him up.
Oh, here.
Come up.
Look at him moving around.
Start the engine again. Does he look like he's getting close, John?
He's right behind the boat, but he
Okay,
ain't
I'll
up
go there
yet.
then.
Okay,
All right, bring him up
Now,
easy.
back up, Fred.
you ready?
Yep.
You ready? Okay.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no, he's not ready yet.
Likes that cold Watch him on that spot there.
Yeah.
Likes that cold water.
Here he comes, here he comes, here he comes. Here he comes. Oh, come on.
Do that again, just back.
Okay, just one more time. One more time.
yeah.
Nice
Go,
fish.
just let
What a
him
nice
go.
fish.
Come on, babe.
Yeah! All right.
All right.
Isn't it?
Oh, that feels
What he
good.
did all by his lonesome.
You bet.
Is it okay?
You ain't that a pretty male?
It sure is.
Can't get much
Ah.
better than
Well, you know, this really speaks well for Emil Dean and
that. Yeah.
St. Joe River steelhead fishing. Let's get him out of here. Yeah, we're in the brush.
Yeah.
There he is. John. Well, congratulations. I caught this steelhead trout this past Monday morning on the St. Joe River. A cold day, but a good day. And we'll continue fishing with Captain Emil Dean in just a moment because it's Thursday night and time for Michigan Outdoors. It's a nice fish, Emil. This took no time at all.
Nothing to it, is there?
Yeah, but yesterday, how'd you do yesterday?
We didn't do very well yesterday.
Huh, well, we got a good start right now.
Yeah.
What do you say, John? You say this is a skinny fish?
Yes, a thin fish.
Thin one?
Yeah.
But it's a male
Right.
by the coloration.
He's been in the river for a while, too. He's dark, see?
One thing for sure, he's a cold fish. You feel that right up next to your cheek?
Oh, that feels nice.
I tell you, that's cold. You gotta... There he is, the first one in the ice box. Hey, well, let's go inside. I gotta warm my hands here.
Okay.
We can talk a minute. Oh, nice to get in where it's a little bit warm. Oh, I tell you, that's a cold fish. You got a paper towel up here? Oh. Well, does this look like it's gonna be a good winter for steelhead?
Well, it's going to be one of the best we've ever had.
Why?
Mainly because of the weather. You know, we haven't had severe weather. We're normally frozen by now. In fact,
Okay.
our water temperature out there is about 36 degrees, where normally it's down 31.
Yeah.
At least.
Well, that fish is 31.
Pretty close to it.
I can tell that. Well, this is nice. You know, you have the heated cabin and all the windows around. You can see out. Well, we got fishing out here. We ought to introduce the folks that we have out there. There's, of course,
Of course, our secretary, Kathy Beitler, production assistant, she wanted to go fishing on a day, so we said, come on down with Emil, we'll get some fishing. Ed Groves, producer, and John Clevenger. John goes out with you quite a bit, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah, John and I fish quite a bit. John's a native here.
And he knows his fishing. Well, my hands are almost warm enough to go out and try it again.
Okay, whenever you're ready.
Wouldn't that be a corker if I got the second one, too?
Let's see you do it.
That'd be great. What we use for bait here is spawn, treated spawn. What do you do with this with borax?
Yes,
Emil?
borax.
Borax on this. Take a chunk about this size. A good chunk, and you gotta hook it so it's through the membrane. Kind of tough on this, John. Sometimes it doesn't.
You get that membrane.
Yeah, that's good. Get it through another time. Oops.
The idea is to make a ball out of it.
Make a ball out of it. That's easy for you to say. You try to make a ball out of this.
If you get it flat, it'll spin up.
How's that look?
That'll look good.
Okay, that's not bad. Got a number 4 hook, a little bell sinker on here, and that's how it's rigged. We'll go out and we'll drop it right. There's a hole here, a run, John? Right. And this is where the steelhead like to lay. So we let it down to the bottom and just wait for it to tap, tap, tap. That's what it did. Right off the bat. I should have one in about 15 seconds, John. Wouldn't that
You're lucky.
Wouldn't that just kill you?
That don't happen that way very often.
No, not very often. But, Emil, you've been getting 6, 8 fish a trip, haven't you? I mean, the past couple of weeks?
Well, the past couple of weeks, but that's not the average by any means.
Not the average. What do you average? 2 or 3?
Average 2 or 3 fish a trip is pretty good.
Okay, well, we're on our way. With 1 fish in the boat right off the bat, we didn't know if that meant we'd load the boat or it might be our last fish for the morning. With these temperatures, if the fish didn't want to bite, I wouldn't blame them. But steelhead fishing on the St. Joe will probably be reasonably good right through the spring. John Clevenger can usually catch them when nobody else can, and we had 2 other not as experienced but very eager anglers on board, Ed and Kathy. I hope both of them would boat steelhead for all they're going through, but me, I spent more time inside with Emil. Well, Emil, you prefer a cloudy day like this or sunshiny day? Which seems to be better?
Well, depending on water temperature, of course. Now, in the wintertime, when the water's cold, I like a sunshiny day.
Me too.
Yeah. Well, but the fish are more active in the sunshiny day in the wintertime when the water's cold. Now, in the fall or early spring after the water warms up, I'd rather have a cloudy day.
How many holes do you have here in the river? You fish a couple mile stretch?
I fish probably 5 or 6 miles, but there's, you don't fish the holes every day because a lot of days there'll be somebody else into them, so you have to kind of skip around them.
How often can you come back and fish the same hole? You rest it for an hour or what?
No, I usually go through a hole one time, and if I come up to a good hole I've been fishing, I see somebody there, I won't even fish it that day because the first guy through the hole's got the best chance at it.
Trout get a little spooky?
Well, they get a little spooky, and probably they might take the fish out of there ahead of you. Of course, if you take one fish out of a hole, the next day one will move in his territory, but there generally won't be 2 there in the same spot.
How do you find the holes in the? There's maps or charts you use?
Well, we've got maps and charts now. To begin with, we run the river with depth sounders. We made up our maps and charts and determined the depths and found the holes. Then we determined which holes held the fish and which didn't.
Some of them don't hold fish?
No, some holes won't hold fish. If there's no structure in a hole, there won't be any fish in them.
Are there logs down there or?
Logs and rocks and things of that sort.
That's what you want?
Right, definitely.
Fish lay behind that.
Now this time of year now, of course in the spring they go out on the gravel when they spawn, but now they're laying in the holes.
I think a smart fish, when the weather turns like this, would go down to Florida. I'd get down that Mississippi River and head south.
Of course, if you don't know any better, you stay here, I guess.
That's right. Well, we had one heck of a fall, though. The warm weather stayed until just a few days ago.
Yeah, this was the best year we've ever had. In fact, this is the coldest day we've had this year.
I wonder if it's going to be the coldest day of the winter.
I hope so.
I hope so, too. Boy, last year at this time, Tip-Up Town was going on, and it was... Did you fish then?
I was out of business by this time last year. Like the last 2 winters. By the first of the year, we had to hang it up.
Oh, yeah, there was 50, 60 below wind chill last year at this time of year.
Yep.
You might have a season all winter, though.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. We'll go all winter now. Maybe we'll call some days off for cold days, but I don't think we're going to see as much ice as we've had in previous years.
Well, that's, at least from this standpoint, it's welcome. Winter sports and the ski people, it's kind of rough on them, but
Well, I figure I should have mine turn once in a while.
You deserve it. Well, it's about time to get out there again. I guess my hands are warm enough.
Okay, let's do it.
You can't fish too long.
Yeah, but you got to suffer about so much. You got to remember that.
I know. It's worth it, though. You catch fish like this.
That's what you call paying your dues.
Yeah. Well, you wanted to come fishing. Get tired sitting in the office, huh?
Darn timing.
Oh, look, right back there.
Yeah, look at him.
Look back there. See if you can see him.
down, I mean, we're
Pull up on it.
Oh.
He's drifting way down.
There he is. You know, with a current like this, you're also fighting the current, and that fish lays himself sideways.
Oh, yeah. Boy, he is.
What's the biggest... Pulling the anchor up now, so we're drifting free. What's the biggest fish you ever caught before?
Bluegill.
A bluegill. This is a little bigger than a bluegill.
Yeah, a little.
Yeah, you got to keep the rod tip up, because what happens when the line is straight out, it puts a lot of pressure on the line, you can snap the line. But that rod is acting like a cushion there. I think the sun's coming out.
Can I, no?
I'm almost ready to take my jacket off and
We can get a suntan.
stretch out on the deck.
Can't wind him in.
Well, okay, if you wind it, pull back. Take it up, pull it down.
Okay, and the one
Okay,
that
now
goes down
crank
slack?
as you're letting the rod down. Crank fast.
Taking the slack, right?
Yeah, crank real fast. Yeah, now you're gaining some. Okay, so keep doing that. And now crank on the way down. There you go. That's the idea. Pull up. Now we're gaining on him. Hurry.
Isn't that great?
Kind of like this. He's rolled up in the line. Yeah, okay, now what we're going to do, get this back up here. Swing over here, get a shot over here. Up of us, and then swing back and forth. Okay, Cat, now, this is the critical part, because this is when fish are lost.
Yeah, I know.
Now, yeah, he's rolled up in the line. Okay, now what you want to do, okay.
Right there.
Really, just a little more. Okay, now lean back, lean back, lean back. Hey, there we go. Well, Kath, you jumped up and down a little bit right. There we go. We were proud of Kathy. That's a nice fish to us, but to her, it was a real trophy. The biggest fish she'd ever caught. Not every secretary would appreciate a fringe benefit like taking a day to fish for steelhead in the winter, but Kathy does. It's not a master angler-sized fish, but in our book, Kathy is definitely our master angler of the week. That was steelhead fishing a couple years ago, and it just so happens that this year the fishing has been just as hot, even hotter, according to Emil Dean. Emil is now up in the Manistee River, where he's been doing very well this winter. You know that trip that we were supposed to put on the air tonight, where we went up to the UP? We're going back to Tequamanon Falls, into the deer herd at Hulbert, and to Manistee Bay, and maybe up to the Sioux. We'll see if we can do some whitefish spearing or catch something up there. Frankly, I got to tell you, we got skunked the weekend we went, and part of the reason for the bad tape is we had a blizzard and a lot of equipment problems. We're going to go back, and I imagine the fishing is going to be hot on Manistee Bay. It has been all winter long. Hot fishing? Hey, remember that perch story we had a couple weeks ago? 1.5 miles off Quantico is where the perch are right now, according to Gail Bedore, Gail's bait shop in Quantico. That's in a lot closer than they were when we fished. They're also picking up walleye and steelhead while fishing for perch. They've even caught 1 coho. So it looks like spring is almost here. The walleye fishing has been hotter than a pistol off the hot water discharge in Saginaw Bay. Now, some of those areas you saw where we fished on the Tittabawassee River, well, true to form, that fishing dumped off the weekend right after we made that report. But there are some hot spots along the Tittabawassee. If you can find them, talk to the locals and see what you can find out. And if you can get a big one, be sure to send it in to us so you'll make our trophy book. January was a good month for ice anglers this year. As usual, the Au River turned out some big walleye. This 30-incher was caught on a minnow by Claire Earl of Tawas, weighed in at 11 pounds. Lake Huron has produced some big pike, too. At 42 inches, this is an easy qualifier for Paul Schreiber from Caro.
Somehow that doesn't look like Paul holding the 19-pounder, though. I'm going to guess that's Mrs. Schreiber. She's the one in the limelight. Cliff Boyd from Traverse City has gained quite a reputation in his neck of the woods. 5 master angler muskies he's speared in the past 21 years, one over 40 pounds. He said one year he fished 98 and a half hours without seeing a muskie. One finally came under a shanty and he missed. But he got this one a year ago, February 10th, 28 pounds, 48 inches long, a prize catch that lands Cliff Boyd from Traverse City the title as our Michigan Outdoors Trophy Angler of the Week.
DNR pheasant biologist Pete Squibb is looking for some help right now in raising some pheasant chicks. He's looking primarily to individuals involved with 4-H and also Sportsman's Club to take on responsibility for overall up to 30,000 chicks to be raised to 12 weeks of age and then released. Now, Pete will admit that this program alone will not bring back pheasants to the state of Michigan, but he does feel the educational campaign and the information disseminated through the DNR for habitat and habitat set-asides could be of immense help. National Wildlife Federation is seeking a ban on lead shot. In a letter written to Secretary of the Interior Donald Hodel, they're saying that because eagles are still ingesting some lead shot and dying from that violates the Endangered Species Act, and that the Secretary must order a non-toxic shot or steel shot for waterfowl hunting by the 1987-88 waterfowl season. And a non-game fund set up through the income tax checkoff has taken on bluebirds as one of its primary goals to restore to abundant numbers in Michigan. Apparently, bluebird numbers have dwindled since nesting cavities and the number of them available to bluebirds are down around southern Michigan. For more information on how you can help bring them back, get a hold of your local DNR office. And this outdoor reminder that the extended goose season ends this Sunday, February 16th.
Bob, you know, I wanted to make it down to that late goose season, but frankly, our reports have been that the geese have gone south because of the bad weather we've had.
Oh, yeah, it's been a real hit-or-miss proposition. It's surprising some people did very, very well, though.
Oh, that always happens. There's always local hot spots. But, you know, talking about the northern winter, we couldn't bring you a full report here tonight on the show, but we do in our Outdoor Digest have a report, an article by Leonard Lee Rue. Life in Winter on the white-tailed deer. We're going to catch up on that in the next couple of weeks. He also wrote an article on how he photographs wildlife and nature. So we have a lot of articles in here, information about the show and our show pages, which give rundowns of the subject of the shows. We have the recipe. The recipe coming up is in here. A little bit about the trophy book, the outdoor quiz. And our mailbag questions are in here, too.
A letter for you, Fred, from Sean Turner of Wyandotte, Michigan. He writes and he says, when you show the statewide fishing report, how come you hardly ever show Lake Erie and its tributaries? I read in the Inn Fisherman that Lake Erie is one of the top 25 walleye spots in the country.
Well, the Inn Fisherman is absolutely right, Sean. And in our book, Lake Erie is tops. As far as catching the most walleye in the shortest period of time, when we've gone down with Ray and Nancy Nichols, we've clobbered the walleye, loaded the boat. In the past couple years, the walleye have been fairly small, each year getting bigger. The ones that we were catching, last year that were 13, 14 inches, I'll bet you, Bob, are going to be 16, 18 inches this year.
It should be a good crop of good eating fish.
We're going to be back down there in Lake Erie this coming year. In fact, we're going to get some perch, and maybe we'll check out some of those tributaries, too. That'll be coming up. Now let's see if you shotgunners especially can answer this shooting sports question in our outdoor quiz.
What does the gauge of a shotgun really mean? Gauge refers to a method of measuring barrel diameters that goes back to the muskets of the 1500s. 12 round lead balls that fit through a 12-gauge barrel weigh a pound, while it takes 20 lead balls that fit through a 20-gauge barrel to weigh 1 pound.
Mark Martin is at the top of the heap of West Michigan walleye guides. He fishes Muskegon Lake during the summer at night, and believe me, it's worth losing a few hours of sleep for walleye like he catches.
Because it feels like it's releasing, you know?
Uh-huh. So I need to keep that line real tight. We'll get him right in. There he is.
You see him? Good one? No, not particularly. But a good fighter.
Real good fighter.
Boy, not much bigger.
What about playing a walleye? These are averaging 3, 4 pounds, 5 pounds. What's the secret to playing a walleye?
It's get them into the boat as fast as you can, and don't give them a break. And if you got to stretch your line to the breaking point, because you want to keep the hooks buried in their mouth, and always keep your hooks sharp as you can possibly get them.
Well, your hooks on your lures are incredibly sharp. Sharpest I've ever known. You'd win a hook sharpening contest.
Yeah, I've lost too many walleye when I had dull ones, and I finally decided that keeping the hook sharp is the biggest key to hooking the walleyes consistently and keeping them hooked. Otherwise, they'll throw it.
Whoa! This is, I don't want to lose this one. This is the best fighter so far.
Ooh, that is a big one. That is a big fish.
Oh. That's nice. Oh, all right. There it is.
That's a nice one.
There's my pile of walleyes, gang. Oh, look at the size of this one.
Mark Martin sure knows how to catch walleye. He and I will both be at the Central Michigan Sports Show this weekend, one of the events coming up on our outdoor calendar.
Continuing through Sunday in Flint is the Camper and Travel Trailer Show at the IMA Sports Arena. And starting Friday in Lansing is the Central Michigan Sports Show with plenty of hunting, fishing, camping, and boating. Fred Trost will be there for the entire show doing seminars every hour on fishing, deer hunting, and shooting. Saturday evening and Sunday, Babe Winkleman will join Fred, so don't miss it. Friday evening and Saturday, Babe will be at Bassarama at the Waterford Community Center. For Saginaw fishermen, stop by the Civic Center for the Saginaw Valley Steelheaders annual show. There's an ice fishing derby this weekend at the Kipling Public Access Site on Little Bay de Noc in the UP, and an ATA-sanctioned trap shoot on Sunday in Linden. And starting Tuesday, the Grand Center Boat Show in Grand Rapids. The Stroh's Hunting Awards banquet on the 22nd at Roma's is 2/3 sold out right now, so don't hesitate if you want to see the biggest bucks, elk, and turkeys of 1985. It's going to be a great one. Followed in April by the Stroh's Fishing Awards banquet for all the big ones that didn't get away last year. And Fred Trost Outdoor Fair is adding new attractions. This year, you'll see some of the top coon dogs in action, demonstrations of coon hounds, trailing scents, brought to the fair by the Michigan Coon Hunters Association, adds to the list of events that the whole family will enjoy June 27th through the 29th at Houghton Lake. If you missed a number, call the Michigan Travel Bureau toll-free at 1-800-292-2520. And that wraps up this week's Michigan Outdoors calendar.
Might not look like much from here. This is called venison rouladen. Look, we can see some pickles in here. But I'll tell you, there's no recipe we have cooked. You have cooked, Kathy, that smells any better than this one.
You can smell it miles away. Just great. Just drop them in.
Rouladen. What does rouladen mean?
It's thin piece of meat wrapped around stuffing or vegetables. And it means a roll.
German word?
A German word. Very German.
Well, let's get to some. Let's show the folks what is in this rouladen, this stuff.
Okay.
This kills me.
Okay, we've got mustard.
Mustard.
Onions. Pickles.
That sounds,
yes, right.
Sounds like we're going to
meat,
coney dog or something.
some garlic, some fresh bacon.
And venison.
And venison. That's what our main is. Yeah.
Now, this is venison round. This my initials there, FT.
That's your deer.
That's my deer. 10/13/85.
Last year's.
You know, it's really important to put the date and who got the game.
That's
and it makes
right.
it more fun when you eat it. But also, this is an article that you wrote in the Digest a couple months ago,
Very
Kath.
properly wrapped.
Wrapped in freezer paper with some
Saran wrap, or we've got
microwave type.
Right, regular freezer plastic wrap.
And that keeps all the freezer burn off.
Absolutely. We're going to go pound these out quite thin. You want them fairly thin.
Like cube steak.
Yep, exactly. And they look like they're going to fall right apart, but they don't. They stay together very nice.
Well, that does break down the fibers of some that might be tough, but of course the venison we have isn't tough.
Now the garlic, we're not going to crush it, because you don't want little pieces of garlic on it. We're just going to rub the garlic on the meat.
That might be good with little pieces.
And you can taste it. You really can taste it. And then mustard, just going to spread a little bit of mustard on each piece. A little bit of onion. Looks strange.
It does. And the pickles, a lot of people say don't put pickles on.
Right, now you could use either sweet pickle or dill pickle.
But you
whatever
can
you
taste
want.
these pickles.
You sure
in here,
can.
and they're great.
One piece of bacon on each one. Now, a lot of recipes will call for the bacon on the outside, but this meat is so moist and everything inside, we want it rolled right up inside.
And the string, of course.
Right, to hold the little bundles together.
You can, I've done recipes like this with toothpicks.
Right.
And they work okay.
It does, but the string works so much easier. They stay nice. Go fry these for just a few minutes, just to brown them, just the outside of the meat.
And this is something, because of that bacon inside, the frying is not enough. That
That's
bacon
right.
is not cooked.
That's right. So then we're going to cook it for an hour at 275 degrees.
The one problem I see here, Kathy, that those are not enough rouladen bundles.
No, we're going to pour some consomme over the top just to keep it nice and moist for some flavor and juice.
And
That's that.
in the oven for how long?
An hour at 275. Real slow oven.
Here we are. And Bob, bring your plate over here. We're going to have to sacrifice one of our display
All right.
rouladens for Bob because he cleaned up one already.
They are good.
We're going to be into that other one real soon. This is, you know, you wouldn't think with the pickles and onions
A lot of times
and
this
mustard.
is cooked with cabbage in the middle.
Cabbage?
Right.
Oh, that'd be great,
That's
too.
right. That's why the Germans put cabbage in it.
By the way, I want to correct you. I'm going to be eating that next one, too.
Okay, you better hurry on that one because it's going to be a race. A great recipe, unlikely combination of ingredients.
Absolutely.
But Kathy, this is a prize winner.
Oh, I love
Super.
it.
Bob, while I get to this next one here, why don't you tell the folks where they can get a copy of the recipe?
This great traditional German recipe, usually made with beef, is in this issue of Fred Trost's Outdoor Digest, along with excellent articles on hunting and fishing. For a free copy, P.O. Box 6001, East Lansing, Michigan 48823.
Pull up. Now we're gaining on him.
Isn't it great?
Kind of like this.
Look at that.
He's rolled up in the line. Yeah, okay, now what we're going to do, get this back up here. Swing over here, get a shot over here of us, and then swing back and forth. Okay, Kat, now, this is the critical part. Okay, now what you want to do, okay.
Right there.
Really, just a little more. Okay, now lean back, lean back, lean back. Hey, there we go. Well, Kath, I think you jumped up and down a little bit right here. There we go.
We were proud of Kathy. That's a nice fish to us, but to her, it was a real trophy. The biggest fish she'd ever caught. Not every secretary would appreciate a fringe benefit like taking a day to fish for steelhead in the winter, but Kathy does. It's not a master angler-sized fish, but in our book, Kathy is definitely our master angler of the week.